Male voices ricocheted across the schoolyard. The voices soared, fueled by the speed of afterkill. Then silence. After a massacre, the soldiers would sit down and smoke. It was exhausting work, killing people. Muffled voices punctuated the blocks of silence. The soldiers spoke Hima and French, the colonial mother tongue. After a while, the conversation fractured. Aristide listened intently, trying to work out how many soldiers there were. How many were only boys, like him, like the children they just killed? What were their plans now? Which way would they head when they left? Aristide could speak 3 languages, Hima, Swahili, and French. His father was a Hima, his mother a Lendu. His parents may be dead, but they had given him the means of survival, this linguistic ability to adapt and to eavesdrop. Repeatedly he heard the words coltan and cell phone, untranslatable into either language. He had first heard about coltan from Sister Gloria when her brother in Paris had sent her a shiny blue Nokia as a Christmas present. They'd all gathered around it, fascinated. No one had ever seen a cell phone before. The only means of communicating was by the old school telephone that had been put in by the Belgian colonialists decades ago. Everyone had wanted to know how the cell phone worked and what it was made of. According to Sister Gloria, coltan was the new black gold, the vital magic ingredient of all cell phones, and it could be found right here in the Congo. It would make the country's fortune. All kinds of people, desperate Congolese people, roamed the Ituri forest, panning the riverbeds for coltan and selling it to the highest bidder. And they were prepared to kill for it too. The shuffling of feet, the recoil of laughter, the rumble of jeeps as the soldiers left the schoolyard. Silence. Aristide crawled slowly out of the latrine. He ripped down the school flag and wiped the filth from his body. It seemed as good a use as any for the nation's patriotic flag. Then he sat in the shade and prayed for an end to the fighting. The sun sank low below the rooftops as Aristide entered the school. There were no bodies in the corridors. Where were they? He reached his classroom and gazed with the eyes of a survivor. Sister Gloria lay across her desk, tiny Avril cradled in her arms. Jessica, Solange, Grace, Marnie, Majani lay in a pile of jumbled joints behind her. The boys lay in the middle of the room, surrounded by their only weapons. Books. Blooded books, trampled books, books of knowledge, books of truth, books of hope. Prince's severed arm was proof of his heroic efforts. Aristide screamed inside, imagining Prince, such an awkward reader, using Sister Gloria's precious books as missiles to defend the younger boys. Aristide knelt down and gently slipped his hand underneath Sister Gloria's bloodied hair. Her skin was a delicate pink, too pink for death. He removed the gold cross from about her neck and kissed it. Aristide? Aristide looked up, startled. Majani! Aristide pulled Majani free from the tangle of bodies and pressed her close. Can you walk? I think so, she said hoarsely. But where can we go? To the forest. Is it safe there? Yes, Aristide answered with more confidence than he truly felt. He glanced down at the school bell. Did Sister Gloria ring the bell? We all did. We took it in turns. Sister Gloria told us not to scream and to ring the bell instead. Did it work? No. Everyone screamed. Even Sister Gloria screamed just before she died. But I didn't. My voice left me. I don't know why. I just fell to the ground and lay still. I understand. It happened to me once. When? Another time. Aristide looked away. Similar to this. Majani nodded. They locked hands and headed for the forest. Paris. Paris Zoo, July 2018. Majani finished her ice cream and placed one hand on Aristide's forearm. The tips of her fingers stroked his skin, and she tilted her head upwards. Aristide gulped. There was no escaping Majani's look. She understood how it disturbed him to see the tourists taking photographs of the Okapi, not understanding that those pictures were tarred with blood. Thank you, Aristide. What for? Bringing me here? To the zoo? No, she said, refusing to rise to his deflection. Paris. I always promised I'd bring you here if I could. Sister Gloria would have wanted it. Majani nodded. Aristide twisted his mind away from all the things he had done since they'd walked into the forest together, all the coltan that he himself had sold, and shuddered. He glanced at the tourists snapping away at the Okapi calf with their new phones and wondered if they would buy so many gadgets if they knew the truth of the Ituri forest. It was impossible to tell, but one thing he did know: he would not be buying his daughter Bijou a cell phone for Christmas, but a paint box. Perhaps the boy soldiers of the Congo might have liked to paint too.